Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to day 3 of our VBS 2020. On day 1, we learned from Teacher Grace how Nehemiah had a desire in his heart. So first he learned about the wall back in Jerusalem that had fallen, and the people were so sad, and they didn't have places to live or any protection. And he thought, what do I do? And what did he do? He prayed. He prayed and prayed and prayed until he decided to go and see the king. And Teacher Phyllis told us of his courage. Yeah? So when God put the desire in his heart and the passion, he had courage to go see the king. And that's where we are starting our story today. My name is Teacher Phoebe, and I'm joined on set by Teacher Monica, who will be our Nehemiah for today. Clap for Nehemiah. So now Nehemiah went to see the king. And he went to see the king because first he worked in the palace. And he worked in the palace as a cup-bearer. What that means is he used to take drinks to the king. And the king would then drink whatever it is Nehemiah had given him and then go away. But on that particular day, when Nehemiah took a drink to the king, Nehemiah was very sad. He was very, very sad, and the king noticed. And the king asked Nehemiah, why are you sad? Because I know you're not sick. Because I was like, can it be a tummy ache? No. Can it be a headache? Nehemiah rarely gets headaches. So it surely was something in his heart. And Nehemiah told the king, no, it's not because I'm sick in the tummy or sick in the head. It's because where I used to live long ago before I came here, the wall that was protecting my people was burnt down, and my people are not safe, and my people don't have houses. And the king looked at him, and the king was like, so what do you want? And Nehemiah said, if it pleases the king, I would like to go back home and build the wall. But the king thought and said, but you have a job here. And Nehemiah said, but I will come back, I promise. Immediately I finish building the wall, I will come back. And the king asked him, how many days do you need? And Nehemiah thought, and Nehemiah thought, and Nehemiah said, I'll come back maybe after 100. And the king said, that's okay, then you can go and build the wall. But because the king loved Nehemiah so much, he also said, wait, before you leave, I'm going to give you things to build the wall. I'm going to give you wood, I'm going to give you soldiers, and I'm going to give you letters so that when you go back, no one stops you on the way. And Nehemiah was very happy and said, thank you very much to the king. And so Nehemiah went and got onto his horse. So we are all going to get on a horse with Nehemiah. So our horse has rails, things called rails, to hold the horse like this. So everyone do like this. And then everyone climb on the horse like this. And then everyone say, go. And Nehemiah rode and rode and rode and rode and rode and rode. And the first stop was the woods. And he went and he collected all the wood he would need. And he cut down the wood, cut down the wood, cut down the wood, and put the wood on top of the horse. And then got back onto the horse. Everyone get back into the horse. And then they started riding. And then now we are going to say, to Jerusalem. Everybody say, to Jerusalem. And they rode and rode and rode and rode and rode. And they got to Jerusalem. And the people were shocked. And they wondered what Nehemiah was coming to do. But Nehemiah didn't tell anyone. Instead, he waited at night. Now, before anything could be done, before they would start building and putting up the stones and everything, they had to look at the damage. And so Nehemiah waited until the stars were out in the night for him to go and look around. But now, because this was like there were a lot of rocks and the gate fell down somewhere and there were nails, Nehemiah had to put on protective equipment. And so we are going to put on protective equipment. So Nehemiah had on a hard hat. Put it on. Oops. And he had on a reflective jacket. So what a reflective jacket does is that it makes sure that no cow or horse would hit Nehemiah at night, because they didn't have cars, because they would see his green reflective jacket. And so Nehemiah took some soldiers and some people who had come to see Nehemiah, and they walked. They walked and they walked and they walked and they walked and stopped at the first site, and so there was a place where there was no wall at all. There were no stones and everything was down. And Nehemiah took some notes and he wrote, I'm going to need stones for here, and maybe the wood I collected, and what else do you need? Cement, and what else do you need? Some sand. And he put it back in the book in the pocket, and they continued walking. And they walked and they walked and they walked, and they reached another place. And that place used to have a gate. And Nehemiah saw the gate was burnt down, and it was like halfway now, and he was sad. And he was like, what do I need for here? I need some wood. He wrote down wood. He wrote down he needed some nails. He wrote down he needed, what else? Maybe some more cement, and that was it. And he put the book in his pocket and continued walking and walking and walking, walking, and then he finished looking at all the damage that was caused, and he went back to camp. Now, when he reached camp, people really wondered what he was doing, and when they asked, he did not say yet, because it was still not safe to say. And the day came, and he went and called all the leaders of the people who are called the Israelites. We remember Teacher Grace told us they were called the Israelites. He called all the leaders and sat them down, and he told them, God put a desire in my heart, and the desire was to rebuild this wall so that our people can be safe again. And the leaders were like, that's a very good idea. So we'll start rebuilding the wall. So Nehemiah gathered everyone who wanted to build the wall, and they went. And they gathered stones, and they gathered the shovels that they would use. And they gathered what else? Screwdrivers. They needed screwdrivers. And obviously, because the wall was going up, they needed a what? A ladder. So they gathered everything, and they were ready. And they started rebuilding. And Nehemiah was building and building and building. But then there were some enemies who are, if the Israelites manage to build this wall, we will not be able to creep in at night and steal their sheep and their chicken and their money and everything they have. So what will we do? We will discourage them. And how are we going to do that? We will laugh at them. So these enemies, one of them was called Sanballat. Everyone says Sanballat? And the other one was called Tobias. Everyone said Tobias? And they were not good people. So they went to the campsite where Nehemiah and the Israelites were building, and they laughed at them. Ha, 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 ha. Look at these people. They won't be able to build this wall. Ha, 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 ha. Everyone do an evil laughter like me. Ha, 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 ha. And the people looked at them, but Nehemiah told them, do not be discouraged. Let's continue building. And so Nehemiah continued, and they built the wall, and they built the wall. And Sanballat and Tobias were very sad. They were like, our idea is not working. What will we do? Said we will call them names. And we all know it's not good to call people names, but they did it anyway. So they went back to the campsite, and they laughed at them. Everyone laughed again. Ha, 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 ha. And they said, sasa mnajifanya na hizi simiti zenu na hata haziwezi shikilia kitu. hata hizi kipanda hii ukuta itabomoka tu sahi. And the people were sad, and they were like, maybe it's true. But Nehemiah told them, no, do not be discouraged. Look at how far we've come. We are halfway. And the people looked back at their work and saw that the wall was halfway there. And they were so happy, and so they were not discouraged. And they continued building the wall. But now, as this was happening, the people inside the wall, the ones who are not building, were also having problems. And they started complaining. And they complained and they complained until it got Nehemiah's attention. And so Nehemiah called them, all of them over there, and told them, sit there. What is wrong? And the people said, our leaders have been telling us to give them our money, our goats, our sheep, as we pay them so that they live good lives. And us guys who don't have money, we are even being forced to sell our land so that we get money to pay them. And Nehemiah was very, very angry. Everyone make an angry face. He was very angry at those leaders. And he said, from now on, you will not be paying any money to any leader. You will remain with your money, and you will remain with your sheep and your goats and your cows and your clothes and everything. Now, let's go back and continue building the wall. And the people went and continued building the wall. But now, Sanballat and Tobias were up to no good again. And they went and called other people who are still not good friends of the Israelites. And they wanted to attack. But someone heard, and they went and told Nehemiah. And when they told Nehemiah, Nehemiah thought, what will I do so that my people are not discouraged? So Nehemiah called everyone who was building the wall. And he said, half of you will build the wall. The other half will stand guard. So everyone was told, go get a sword, go get a spear, go get even a shovel, and you will stand guard during the day and during the night. And me and everyone else who is building the wall, we will build with our swords. And how will we know that the enemy is coming? He got an idea. He said, there will be someone who will be beside me who will have a trumpet. A trumpet is a big instrument that makes a loud noise when blown. So he said, if this person hears there's a problem, they will blow the trumpet and everyone will know that there's a problem. And all of us will attack because the Lord is on our side. And they continued building the wall, and they did not give up. And the wall was now almost done. And what we learn from today's lesson is that God gives us the courage to do what he has put in our hearts to do. So even when you feel small, or people are laughing at you or making fun at you for doing something that God has put in your heart, God will give you the courage. And you should not be discouraged because it gives you strength to move on. The same way Noah built the ark and finished is the same way Nehemiah continued through everything and built the wall until it was this much to finish. So join us tomorrow to find out what happens with Nehemiah. Will he finish building the wall? Did Sanballat and Tobiah succeed? Make sure you join us tomorrow. But before we leave, let's all thank Teacher Monica for playing a very good Nehemiah. And let's not forget our memory verse, which we've been doing since day one. It comes from Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 18. It says, they responded, let's start rebuilding. And they got ready to start the work. Thank you. Bye.